Hey y'all, this is Cindy. I'm the Tireless Tangler, and you have arrived at lesson 11 in our Tangled Ribbon Flower series. We are going to be doing the pattern Huggins today. It is an original Zentangle pattern, one of the first 102, and this is a fun tangle for embellishing. So let's get started. Okay, so Huggins is very simple, and it's a great intro to Celtic knots. And it starts with a series of dots. It's based on a square dot grid. And we're going to want our dots to be a decent size. And you can line them up straight, and this pattern will work whether it's completely straight or not. It just depends on whether you want something that's pretty uniform or something that's kind of wacky. There is a version of this that is called Crazy Huggins, where you just put your dots wherever you want. And that always has a fun outcome. In fact, I probably should have opted for that version in this, but we're going to stick with the standard version. In the filming of this, I had some issues with the step out not being visible, and so the video of the finishing petal is also a little problematic with the angle, so I'm trying to keep this where you can see. Okay, so a Huggins stroke, a pin stroke that is a slightly curved line that will match up each pair of dots, okay? And so how you do that is you start on one side and you take off and you land on the other side of the dot next, like this, okay? So now on the next one, you're going to want to go in the opposite direction, okay? If you wanted to go this way, you couldn't, because that would mean you would be crossing this line right here, okay? So the opposite direction, and just take off and land. All right, just like that. Now, in the next row, we're going to want to go opposite, or we're going to want to mirror this image, all right? So on this, we're going to go the opposite direction. So take off and land. Yes. And opposites, mirroring the next row, taking off and landing, right? So this again, opposites, mirroring this row. This will take off and land on the inside. And this one will go the opposite direction. Yeah. Okay, now I want you to shift your drawing surface 90 degrees. And we're going to do the same thing. And we're going to know where to start by how these end, okay? So again, we could not go on the inside here, right? Because it would mean we would cross these lines. So we want to go around the back. Like this. And then this one is going to be opposite. Yeah. And there is a lot of dot adjusting that goes on with this pattern. Then on this, you're going to mirror this. Okay. And then on the next row, we're going to, oops, I forgot this one, didn't I? Okay. In the next row, we're going to again mirror and go in the opposite direction. And here, of course, the only way we can go is this direction. So be in tune with the directionality of the lines in the elements next to you, okay? And you're always going to go in an opposite or mirrored fashion. So the next thing on this is to aura. And This is not in necessarily a part of Huggins, but it is very important nevertheless. So an inner aura on each of these lines, okay? Oops. We're just going to put one in here and pretend. Okay, and then here too. Hang on, a piece of paper blowing in the fan. All right, and then turn your tile and do these. And so this is Huggins. Now again, you don't have to have these inner R lines, but trust me when I tell you, you'll be glad you do. Okay, and I just like to, you know, when I have a free edge, I just like to finish it off with a little R line around there. That's a little wobbly, but it got the job done. And that's a nice way to finish that off. Now, what you have is a wonderland for playing here. You can embellish these. You can do all kinds of things. One of the things that I really love that I've seen people do, particularly Maria Thomas, is to put a large printemps in the center and then draw some more into the sides. And of course, I like to let my printemps overlap. And do another one here. There. It's a little weird looking, but then you can ink around this. Just in the interstices. And you guys know that the interstices are the little gaps or holes left between the pattern elements. Frequently, we talk about inking or blacking those. I say blacking. It's not always black, is it? So that's a really pretty decoration. One that I'm probably going to use today because of the size constraint is this diagonal sort of hatched line that I sometimes have better or worse luck with. My ability to talk and draw is yeah, it's definitely limiting. So something like that, a really subtle way, that sort of brushed metal look. Let's see, what else could we do in here? We could treat it like a Bundy's. We could put these little orbs in. And sometimes bunch them together, and sometimes not. And stick the big ones to the sides like we did in Bundy's. You know, we can bunch them together or just fly them around randomly. Something like that would be really cute and effective on there. So there are tons and tons of things. You could fill this with poke leaf or with flux very easily. And you don't even have to do the whole thing. You could do echo lines off of the sides. You know, there's lots and lots and lots and lots of ways to dress this up and make this really fun and dynamic. So, all right, let's get our flower petal pattern and see what we can do with Huggins in here. Okay. I think I'm going to use Huggins. I think I'm going to do this right here. And so I'm going to switch and get my 01 in brown. See if I've still got enough ink to put this in here. So as I put in my dot grid, I think I'm going to start with a center line. And this one is not going to matter. Okay, and then we'll start one right here towards the center. Now, the version I do in here is not going to be nice and neat the way the one I just did was, because I'm not going to have very much room. In fact, I'm kind of wondering if I'm going to have any room for this at all. I may just change my mind here. What can I do? Let's see. It'll be really close together. I have little rectangles. And you're going to see it will work just fine. Except we are going to be encroaching on our aura line here a lot. Which is why I was pausing. Because sometimes we go outside and sometimes we go inside on these. So let's see. What we can do. And then that one we won't be able to see, and that one we won't be able to see. Okay, so let's start someplace. Let's start on this middle, and that will tell us where we need to be. Okay, and so this one is going to mirror this one. Okay. And then I'm going to turn this and sort of figure out where these are going to be here. Okay. Now, so this one will be going, yeah, all right. We don't see the dot over there, but this will go like this. And like this. There, I think that works. Okay, now I'm going to try and see where we end up here. I'm going to start with my middle row. It's not going to make any difference with this as we turn this corner, which is one reason I chose it. Now I'm going to purposefully not be very curvy with this line because we're in a tight space. So I'm just starting with the center line and switching sides as I make this Huggins stroke from one side to the next, taking off and landing. And then up here, I'm going to go the opposite way here. All right. So now what I'm going to do is mirror on each side of this line. And once I get started correctly, then I'm good to go all the way. All right. So to mirror this, we're going to go inside. So that's going to be very skinny, okay? Outside, inside. Just check in with yourself and look at the line next to you and make sure you're a mirror image of that. And don't worry, as you turn corners and such, it's still going to be okay. All right, and let's go down here. And then mirror this. Don't worry about how skinny your space is. What I choose to do here is going to be quite small and easy. And I may just decide to do the hatch marks. I think that'll look really good, and I won't have to think too hard about it, which is always something good. All right, I think I got all of those. Now I'm going to turn this slightly and go this way, and hopefully you guys have been able to see here. If not, I'm going to be in trouble here. That wasn't very good. All right. Now over, mirror, over, mirror, over, mirror. Let me switch the angle on this. I'm afraid my knuckle has been in the way and I can't tell from where I'm at. So let's do this. Okay. Let's find a place where you're sure which way you're going and start your process from there. Sometimes it's process of elimination. Okay. All right, let's move down this way now. Inside, mirror, outside mirror, inside, mirror. Okay, so now I'm going to do my edges. I think we've got all these except for this one. Okay, and this is going to go this way. So this will go this way. All right. All right, there we go. Now, speaking of little tiny R lines, let's start over here, since this really is going to be the only section I'm going to be able to do anything interesting with. So let's start with our R lines on the inside over here. Okay, now I'm going to do these the other direction. All right, so I've got those. Now I'm going to see what I can do over here. Some of these will be so thin that it's going to be difficult to do them, but let's see what happens. All right, so let's go this way. Let's start down here. All right. Now this one, I'm not going to be able to do anything with. And let's see. So these that are too thin to Aura, I don't know if I want to continue to try that. So, you know, it's an important note to understand that this may be problematic in here in small areas. So, you know, you may decide to use something different, and that's all right. Once I get the camera on, I can't decide differently, so just something to think about. But I still think I can make this look really cool. We're going to find out. And if it's really thin and I just put one down the middle, then that may give me the impression that it's there, but not clog it up so much as like this one. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so that's all right, and nothing wrong with those. And they may have enough ink in there to be dynamic all on their own. We'll find out. Let me finish up going the other direction. I think I wouldn't have tried to put 3 rows in there if I had this to do over. I think I would just put a dot on each side and just do a single row, I think. So you may want to try that instead. All right. Okay. Now, so on these vertical ones, I'm not going to have a lot of room, but on the ones that I do have room on, I'm going to go ahead and hatch these, and on these ones going the other direction, I may do something else, but first, I want to do these really long skinny ones and see what happens, okay? So I'm just going to do these diagonally, starting from the top corner and going down. See, I really like that a lot. I think that's going to be very effective. While I'm doing these, I want to mention, apparently, YouTube has automatically turned on mid-roll ads, which basically means they interrupt the video to put ads in the middle of it. So I've got to figure out how to turn that off. I got a comment, I think, from one of the guys that communicates with me on Instagram, and I never have intended to have mid-roll ads on mine because I agree with you. It completely interferes with the Zen. So I'm going to try to figure out how to turn that off and try to make sure that doesn't happen. I can't promise I'll be able to figure it out, but I'm going to try, okay? I guess they're beta testing a lot of stuff, and so they just randomly pick channels that they want to try things out with, and so I have noticed it on some of the content that I have consumed, mid-roll ads, and I really dislike them. You know, especially when YouTube places them automatically, although they say that that's a better technique when they choose for themselves where to put the breaks, but that doesn't make me happy. Yeah. I'm going to try to fix that so we don't have all that going on. Particularly if you can't skip them, that would suck. So on these really skinny ones, we still get the change in direction so that it makes a little bit of interest in there, but it's nothing that we can't handle even in these teeny tiny ones. Now this one I'm just faking my way through because that's all I have room to do. All right, so now all right. Now for these going this direction, I can't quite decide if I want to do something different or just stick with my hatch marks. And I think I'm just going to stick with my hatch marks. I really like the way those look, and I think it's going to assist the shading and really emphasize the overlapping quality. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Take my time. I'm going to keep a really light touch, barely touch down on the page, so they're very organic looking, sort of sometimes they're strong in there, sometimes they're weak. They just variable line weight. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm barely touching down. Wrong angle again, isn't it? Now I'm going to have to remember which way I'm supposed to go. There we go. All right. All right. All right, so now what I need to do is add some shading. And the question is, do I want to shade with colored pencil or do I want to shade with graphite? So the answer to that is I don't know for sure, but I'm going to start with my blue violet Prismacolor Verithin, and I'm going to put some shading right in here. And of course, I will probably most certainly come in with my black Verithin and add more depth here. But this will get us started. So the next place I'm going to shade is right here where these overlap, okay? And you're always going to shade along the line where these come together. So whichever one looks like it's traveling beneath, that's the place you want to shade. And so now I'm going to turn this and do the same thing going the other direction. All right. And again, I will be adding more color here for sure. All right. So now I'm going to come over here and do the same thing. I'm going to go up and down one way, and then I'm going to shift it and go the other direction. All right. These little ones will barely be visible. So I hope you guys are doing well. We are going to shift back to our other format for the most part when we finish this project. I really miss doing tiles with you guys and learning tangles, and I think if we're out of the mono-tangle format and we just learn tangles and do tiles together, I think that's going to be the most enjoyable. We can still do advanced techniques, and of course for my members, you are going to have members only video Zia creation tiles and things like that. They're going to be more challenging. And so if you guys are interested in that, be sure you check out the blue join button. If you don't see that, it probably means that you're on an iOS device. And in that case, what you need to do is get on Safari and force the desktop version of YouTube. And then from there, go to my channel and you can see the blue join button that way. I guess this all is in beta, and so I should be lucky that that works for me at all. By the way, for my members, I have a new video up, and I just need to figure out how to get it to post on the community tab. I have trouble, because I'm on an iOS device too, I have trouble getting on there. Make sure that you check that regularly. Also, there's a new playlist for my members who are tireless travelers and tanglers. And I've got a new video up for you guys, part 1 of a gorgeous, gorgeous Zia tile that we're going to do. So I can't wait for you guys to check that out and see if you like it. All right, now I need to get my small tortillon. So just to tease you guys who are members, this is what we're doing. This is the line work from the Zia video, so that you guys can check that out. And I will be posting an announcement with the link on the community tab today sometime, or yesterday, whenever. Hopefully I've already done it. Just be sure you check that all the time. And if you will follow the playlists, the members playlists, then I think you'll be notified anytime I put something new in there. Since I don't see it from your side, it's hard for me to predict. All right, so this is what I've got so far. It's not bad. It's okay, but it's lacking some pizzazz. I definitely think I need to do either graphite or my black Verithin, which I'm going to get out right now. But I'm wondering if I want to add additional color to this. It looks like we could add some green in there and some magenta in here and there, and maybe emphasize some blue. And I'm not sure if I want to do it all that way or not, although it turned out really nicely the other day. The other thing that I can do on this is take my white Prismacolor or my charcoal pencil, which is probably a better plan, and put some of that to highlight the center of these like that. So I'm holding that in reserve, and I want to, where is my black Verithin? There it is. All right. It's just so much more effective. And I like putting it over that blue. It works just as well, but it's not quite as black, you know. That shadow is a little bit more pronounced. Okay. Also going to put a lot more of this in here. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to turn this this way and see if I can do some of this going the other direction. And I'm just darkening the shading right here at the tops and bottoms. The more we can emphasize the overlapping, the less this is going to look like something drawn and more like something cool. Got a little crazy on that one, so I'm going to need to lift some of that out probably. Or at least blend it. That would be good. All right. Now we'll probably take my violet blue and go back over this. Okay, so I think I've got most of that. All right, so I've got my Verithins together, and I definitely need to do something to bump the color up in here, I think. So I'm really going to get in here and see if I can make this more vibrant like this one. So I think I'm going to start with the true green, and I'm going to go around in the places where I've got this greenish tint, and see if I can just bump the color up a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to use my blue here. This is my blue Collar Race by Faber-Castell. I think I'm going to switch to magenta here. Okay, I think this looks actually much better like this. So I think I'm going to add some aquamarine here. Sort of get this blue happening. That blue is kind of dull, so I want to pop that up. Now I'm going to switch back to my magenta and sort of do some blending. And remember, we're going to highlight in here with probably white charcoal. All right, and here we definitely need something going on. It just looks sad and lonely and bare. We don't want our squares to be sad or lonely or bare. I'm being kind of goofy today. Not that that's anything new. We're all aware of my goofy qualities. Here, I like that much better. Just sort of amp up the color. And we can always go back in and re-emphasize our shading. And I'll do that with the blue. Once we've got the black down there, it's a little bit better. Okay, let me see how this looks. I really can't see in the camera today, so I'm going to have to trust the process. Let's see. All right. All right. Let's blend some of this very gently. With my tortillon that keeps leaving me. You know, I'm about to get a complex about that. There you are. Okay. I'm not going to need to do much because I don't want to lighten the color necessarily. What I want to do is just get rid of any harsh spots that I've got. And I do have some. And anywhere along in here that I feel the color needs to be bumped up a little bit, I'll just add a little bit more colored pencil. This is definitely going to need some shading right there. Okay. But now this is not my favorite one. I don't mind so much, but I do wish I had picked a different pattern. So again, you guys may choose whichever patterns that you like and enjoy drawing. And this was just, I mean, I don't think it's bad, don't get me wrong. it's just not quite as vibrant and interesting as the one we did the other day. So this is where I'm going to leave. No, I forgot something really important. Well, now I don't know where it is. There it is. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do with my white charcoal pencil is just come in through here and right on the tips or the middles of each of these sections. And I might have to switch over to my Prismacolor white. This isn't going on here very well. Just really depends on the paper surface and what mood it's in, I think, some days. I don't know how effective this is going to be, but we're going to try smoothing a little white on the middles. That might make things a little bit more interesting. Whoa! Simba says a very frisky hello to everyone. Now back here, I necessarily want this to be darker because it's behind and will be sitting beneath a shadow of some sort on this one, like on this. So I don't want to do too much brightening and lightening here. But on the rest of this, just a little bit of white stroked in on top is really going to help these be more dynamic, okay? So again, I will come through here again and do another shading run, probably add a little bit more color to make this a bit more dynamic. I also think that this may be less dynamic than the other one that we did because of the color background here not being quite as interesting as the one that was over there. So let me zoom out here just a little bit. See if I can show you guys what we've done so far. I also wanted to say that I am seriously considering putting water on this and trying to lift out some of this pink color. I just don't know. Some of it will come up, all of it will not, but then I could bring my colored pencils in and add a few different things. The thing I don't like is that it's so different from the rest. So just, I'm thinking about it. We'll see what happens. And I'm going to see you guys for the next lesson. Okay. Thanks for being with me today. And I'm going to see you soon.